China's authoritarian government is increasingly flexing its muscle across the globe, undermining democracy and human rights. Russia's cracking down on regime opponents and occupying sovereign states or sovereign territory. Iran and North Korea's tyrannical regimes have destabilizing effect that's rippling across the entire globe. As a ranking member of the Western Hemisphere Subcommittee, I'm particularly concerned over China's engagement in our own hemisphere, including its efforts to prop up the authoritarian regime in Venezuela, which should have collapsed long ago if not for the Chinese Communist Party. I also see an incredible opportunity for a win-win-win in Latin America. First, China's commodity boom drove up the value of Latin American currencies and made manufacturing in Latin America very difficult. It was actually cheaper for them to buy from China instead of from themselves. Their economies have paid a huge price. Two, China's mercantilist behavior following the COVID pandemic has clearly informed nations across the globe that dependency on China's manufacturing is a security risk. Lastly, we face this immigration crisis at our southern border that's a clear result of the lost jobs in Latin America and this administration's policies. We can fix all of these by eliminating waste in the U.S. international development money and redirecting those funds to more manufacturing, to move manufacturing from China first to the U.S., but when their business models do not support that, move them to Latin America. I think creating manufacturing jobs in Latin America will solve their economic diversity, decouple the world from China, and help stop the migrant caravans coming across our southern border. And we need to do this as soon as we can. And I encourage my colleagues to join me in this effort. I'd also like to urge the administration to strengthen relationships with allies like Israel, one ally in particular that stands out as a time-tested, faithful friend of the United States. It's situated in one of the most unpredictable and perilous regions in the world. I deployed there many times as a soldier and special operator. Their respect for freedom and human rights makes them a leader in the region. Mr. Secretary, there have been a lot of questions about the situation with China, so I won't ask those, although I have many. I have two questions, though, and I'm going to ask them both and then just give you the rest of my time. If you could comment on the Biden administration's vision for Latin America, our partners down there, and if you could also on Iran, sir, just, it's concerning to me that only a few days after an Iranian-backed militia kills an American in Erbil, the administration is talking about re-engaging on JCPOA, and then there are more rocket attacks. So I'd love to know if you guys are dropping sanctions or terrorist designations for any of the Iranian proxies. So Latin America and comments on dropping designations of Iranian proxies.